The return of Bomb Squad. My man, Deontay Wilder is back in the ring against Robert Helenius. This is the first time that he has been back in the ring since the culmination of the trilogy with my man Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder at this time is sitting as a negative 800 favorite, meaning that you would need $800. Bet on him to get back $100, and Robert Helenius is a plus 550 underdog at this time. I've seen a pretty motivated Deontay Wilder, although I did, and he's been consistent with this answer, but I don't necessarily like the reason why. If anybody asks him, like, so, like, why did you decide to kind of come back? You know, because like I had predicted that he was I had predicted that he was going to retire after this, because he's somebody who he so much of his his boxing prowess and everything comes just based off of his this thought that, you know, I'm destined to do this and all this. Like he's somebody who famously said that he doesn't believe in the sweet science. And then when he got shown the sweet science, he claimed that his water got poisoned, that the suit was too this, that his corner. And I thought it was somebody who did not know how to take a loss. So that way he did not know how to make the proper adjustments. And then if you did ask him why he decided to come back, does anybody know the answer that he always gives?
Yeah, it was the drugs, right? Didn't he take some sort of magical fucking mushrooms or some shit like that?
Statue, when they gave him the statue.
It was a statue.
People.
But he said he went and took some kind of drug to gain some sort of insight into whether or not he should continue. I could have sworn he said some shit like that.
I've never heard that.
Oh, man.
I was talking about the one that's been consistent. Yeah, it was been the statue. If anybody actually, like, it wasn't to say that I wanted to reclaim this on the throne. And it was just really that, to me, you know, it sounds like somebody who has not kind of formed an identity outside of boxing, right? It's just where you go and just like, oh, what's up, champ? But I remember you did this, and it was just like, man, I want to go back to that. Even though his last fight, I mean, was it was almost a year ago to the date. It was October the 9th in 2021. But I still think that at this point, he has enough just firepower and just kind of historic knockout power to get through a pretty pedestrian Robert Helenius. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my pick, and I'm gonna go with the favorite, and I'm gonna say he's gonna show some, couple of weaknesses in there that's just with his flawed style, but I'm gonna say 7-round knockout for my man Deontay Wilder.
Now I had a question I wanted to ask Dave about this fight. Dave, if you Malik Scott and this guy's coming off of 2 back-to-back stoppage losses, what's the strategy? Do you want to see this guy get some rounds in? Do they prolong the fight in order to get rounds in, or is this like, nah, this is a heavyweight division, stupid, dumb, anything, one punch can change the whole fight. Go ahead and get this guy up out of there.
Well, I can't speak for like the mindset of you get your rounds in sparring. Technically you should never take any chances when you're in that boxing ring, especially if it's an actual fight. You get your rounds in while you're sparring. And the key to it is, you throw the punches that the guy is allowing you to hit him with, and then it will open up the opportunities for you to throw the punches that you want to throw. You might love your left hook, you might love your straight right hand, but if the guy's uptight, that straight right hand and that left hook might not be there, so you get up under them elbows and go to the pot. So I never play around saying, let him coast and, carry the cat a couple of rounds. I never do that, So I say you get up in that joker, you get up in there and you get out of there. as quick as you can.
Yeah, no bruises, no head trauma. I mean, you try to get in some rounds as a heavyweight, you're gonna be looking up at some lights.
It might be might be night. Yeah. I don't know. My there's no question in my mind. Wilder stretches this guy out somewhere in between round 4 and 7. I want to see how he gets the knockout. Are we going to see some of this boxing ability that he has demonstrated in the past without Malik Scott? We've seen him box before. That Bermain-Stavern 1 fight, we saw, I think, the most versatility that we've ever seen out of Deontay Wilder. So it's not that this guy doesn't know how to box, but he kind of abandoned it for this. All it takes is one kind of mentality. He's going to beat this guy. It's just a matter of how to me. I really, does he work to set that right hand up? And when I say work, I mean very, very deliberately, specifically work to set it up. Not wait to land it like he did with Luis Ortiz, because he's down by seven rounds to none or whatever it was when he knocks out Luis Ortiz. Does he set that right hand up?
The kind of boxing acumen. It's just anytime he's been in with anybody who knows how to box, who knows how to move around the ring, it's like we give too much. Who is Bermain-Stavern? It's just like that guy is.
Well, Stavern beat Ruiz. Didn't Stavern beat John Ruiz or Chris Arreola, one of those guys?
He beat Chris Arreola, but I mean, who doesn't beat Chris Arreola?
I don't know. Chris Arreola. Okay.
I mean, come on. Like, I think Chris Arreola was a hype job that everybody took to heart. So that means that every time somebody beats Chris Arreola, we want to give them some props. It's like Chris Arreola was never that guy. Chris Arreola is 38-7 with 3 KOs. This guy,
wait, 3 KOs? That's it?
He's been knocked out 3 times.
Oh, no, I thought you meant he only has 3 KO wins.
No, come on, no. He was
I was gonna say. I mean, it's heavyweight. I mean, everybody gets stopped at heavy, but very few guys. I mean, yeah. Hey, look, I'm not gonna sit here and defend Deontay Wilder's strength of opposition. He lost after he threw Mark Brewer under the bus. I'm not gonna sit here and defend this guy. So if you don't think his strength of opposition is all that, I ain't gonna argue. I mean,
if we gotta go to, I mean, his best win is obviously Luis Ortiz. I give him props for that, but these were fights that he was easily these were like easy boxing matches that we were like just kind of like looking at where he just looked dumbfounded.
Oh, what about the other guy, the guy that played quarterback in college? What was his name?
Dominique Brazil. Who?
Brazil. You don't. Wasn't Brazil a solid win? That wasn't a solid win. You're telling me?
It was a great knockout, man.
It was a highlight real knockout. It's not.
But Brazil was not a rateable guy at that time. He wasn't.
Nah, I mean, the reason that we gave Anthony Joshua so much credit is because he was fighting Dillian White's, Vladimir Klitschko's, even a Povetkin and the guy that just got knocked out by
Joseph Parker.
Like those are legitimate guys who like held belts or all of these. Like he has none of those guys on his resume.
All right, so I always thought Stavern was a solid win for the guy, man. I thought Stavern and Ortiz were his.
You know why? Because the first time he fought Stavern, what happened?
He went 12 rounds.
So everybody gave him just all this credit for it because this was the first. So everybody just gave Stavern all this credit for going 12 rounds with him, and that's really his greatest accomplishment. And then that second fight that he had with him, the guy was so out of shape, it was laughable.
What about Gerald Washington? That wasn't a good win?
Gerald Washington?
Yeah.
Tell me Gerald Washington's best win. Gerald Washington, man. Gerald Washington.
Yeah, I never really bought into this idea that he had this shitty resume. I always thought he had underrated.
I mean, saying like, why not fight a I mean, the guys may not have wanted to fight him, but I'm like, fight him. Well, he wanted to fight Joshua, so I will give him credit for that in there. And I still think that he has he's up there. He's a top 5 heavyweight when it just comes to just sheer knockout power.
Yeah, he might be onto something here, man. Stavern's resume is awfully thin here, and so is
Gerald Washington. They got
Gerald Washington, man. Maybe Eric Molina. No, man. Yeah, man. Maybe there is something to this narrative here that he's got a bad resume. Maybe he does. All
right. So we're getting close to the time. So you have a knockout for the Bronze Bomber between the 4th and 7th round. Coach Dave, what say you?
Man, all right. So, dude, Wilder should knock this dude out, man. Wilder should knock this guy out. He should knock him out 6th round, man. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna flip, man. I'm gonna go, man. Buffett. I'm gonna take Helenius, man.
Whoa, this guy.
Trying to get some money. Go ahead, like go.
Yeah.
Let me. I got 50 on it. I got 50 on it on them odds.
And so Wilder should knock this cat out because when Helenius is on the outside, that head is up. Y'all know.
Yeah,
see how
it is. Yeah.
That left hand. Go back to fights. I literally watched probably 4 of this guy's fights, right? So, I mean, watch them to study. So the guy's left hand is low, man. His head is up, man. Wilder should knock this joker straight out. And then I think I was watching this one fight with Helenius, man, and I'm not sure if it was. I don't know if it was Chisora. I don't know who it was. But when they was on the inside, I actually liked this guy's protection, and I liked, as a big man, how tight his shots were. I don't think Wilder is a solid fighter on the inside because he's so wild and punches be hitting jokers in the back, and you know.
I think it was maybe Dillian White you might be referring to, even though he lost to him though.
Yeah, he lost to White, but I like this. I like the way the guy kind of fight on the inside, man. So what I'm hoping is, you know, he can dodge that bullet a little bit, get on that inside, man. And the boy got a sneaky uppercut. That with how wide Wilder is when he's close.
Ooh.
And just kind of sneaking, man. So I know Wilder's gonna be anxious and swinging all wild and crazy, man. You know, trying to put on the show or whatever, man. And I just I don't know, man. I don't know, but I'm going for the underdog.
Ooh, got a little spicy.
I would bet on it, man. I just see what's happening. I don't know, man.
You want to throw that shit out there?
I just throw it out there, man. Helenius, man.
So to me, that sounds like the header, like for this show is like Coach, you know, picks the upsetter. So that sounds like that seemed like the header for the show. Cause
segment.
Yeah. So the casual one, we're gonna end with you.
And Wilder gonna knock this dude ass out. Not Buddy out, man. He was picked for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It was a softball. He gonna knock this shit out the park, man. He gonna look good, and then they're gonna set this top. Who's gonna fight next?
Ruiz.
Andy Ruiz. Set this Ruiz fight up next. Or Usyk. Usyk did say that he was gonna. He did want to give Wilder a chance.
Usyk's people came out. Aegis Clemens came out earlier this weekend and said that very specifically that Wilder was not the priority. That the undisputed fight with Fury.
Yes, that should be.
That's a priority. But you want to give yourself some leverage.
Not Fury. Usyk ass out too.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he might.
Real talk, man. I mean, Fury probably really the only one that got their
You're right.
boys. No,
Yeah,
you know,
Fury the only one that got his number, man.
real talk, man. And I know I just picked old boy, but real talk, man. Unless that Joker just have a flashback, boy. If I was dang on Helenius, I come in that Joker shade, looking just
I
like
didn't see him, yeah. So like, so
right.
the thing about
Looking just like Fury.
just like Fury, boy.
Come in like 300 pounds and just lean on that motherfucker.
Yeah, that's you bring up an interesting point. And it's what if fights like that, Dave, can they have a long-term? Can Wilder's punch resistance be diminished at this point, or is that those two fights were just not enough wear and tear? What do you think? Is his punch resistance still there?
Man, I couldn't tell you, man. I wish I'd have watched. If I would have watched some of his training session, mid work and bad work with Malik Scott, I could probably. But yeah, make no mistake about it, man. That time and pounding can absolutely take away the sweet science that is within your weapon, which is your body in this sport. Make no mistake about it, it can. So I don't know, man. I personally think that this guy still hit hard, bro. I mean, it's like, real talk, man. He probably break this Joker's face. He should.
He might.
But I'm just going for the underdog, man. But I do think that Tyson Fury just took a lot out of this man.
He did, man.
Emotionally, mentally, and physically, he took.
And he still hasn't accepted the loss. But I think sometimes with boxers,
he hasn't.
He has not. I think with boxers, sometimes being delusional is it might be a good thing because it might put him into a atmosphere where he just feels like he's still undefeated and he still can kind of go on. But with that said, we are going to wrap up. So this is our 40th show, but this is the first time that we are working with a producer. We want to give a shout out to our producer Dave in there. So I'm going to go ahead and end the show.